This is Nerd is Culture. The biggest game on the planet has now leaked twice, and the second time is happening this very week. Here's the part almost nobody's connecting out loud. The same weakness that broke Rockstar wide open in 2022 never actually got fixed. It just went quiet. By the end of this, I'll walk you from a teenager with a hotel TV and a fire stick all the way to a masked figure demanding a ransom in cryptocurrency, and show you why Grand Theft Auto 6 may be impossible to keep secret. So let's get into it.
Because think about how strange this is. A game that still hasn't come out, that barely anyone outside Rockstar has actually played, has already spilled onto the internet not once, but twice. So the real question isn't just what leaked, it's how a company this big, this careful, this rich, keeps getting cracked open by outsiders. First, you have to understand why anyone would risk prison for this. Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't just another game, it's the most anticipated piece of entertainment of the decade, and that makes every scrap of it worth a fortune. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out back in 2013, and it went on to sell more than 200 million copies. Let that sink in. A single game outsold almost every movie, every album, every book of its era. It made more money than any piece of entertainment in history. So for over a decade, the entire industry has been waiting on the sequel, and Rockstar has said almost nothing. Every silence just made people hungrier. And here's the scale we're talking about. Grand Theft Auto 5, over 200 million copies sold. Grand Theft Auto 6, a reported budget in the range of $1 to $2 billion, which would make it the most expensive game ever built. And a first trailer that pulled 93 million views in its first 24 hours, shattering the record. This isn't a game, it's an economy. This is the world people are desperate to get into early. An open city, modelled on Miami, that Rockstar has been building in secret for years. When something is this valuable and this hidden, it stops being a game to certain people. It becomes a target. Analysts have thrown out numbers that sound made up. Some expect Grand Theft Auto 6 to pull in over $1 billion in its opening weekend alone. That's the kind of money that turns a leaked video clip into a weapon. Which brings us to the night it all fell apart the first time. September 2022. On the 18th of September 2022, a user posted on a forum called GTA Forums under the name Teapot Tuber Hacker. Attached were around 90 videos of Grand Theft Auto 6 running in an early, unfinished state. Debug menus, placeholder text, characters walking through half-built streets. It was the single biggest leak in the history of video games, and for a few hours, nobody even believed it was real. It looked too raw, too early. It was real. Here's how that weekend actually unfolded. It moved fast, and Rockstar had almost no time to react, and the numbers around the breach were staggering. Around 90 video clips. The leaker also claimed to have Grand Theft Auto 6 source code and code and assets from Grand Theft Auto 5. And the whole thing was pulled off, allegedly, by a teenager who was already on bail for hacking other companies. This wasn't a sophisticated state operation. That's what made it so frightening. So Rockstar admits it's real. The footage is everywhere, and within days, police make an arrest. Which leaves the obvious question hanging over everything. Who does something like this, and why? This is the part of the story that still doesn't feel real, because the person who humbled one of the biggest studios on earth was a teenager, working out of a hotel room. His name is Arion Kurtar, at the time a 17-year-old from Oxford in England. He was a member of a loose hacking group called Lapsus $, a crew of mostly teenagers who, in a matter of months, tore through some of the biggest tech companies in the world. And I want to be careful here, because Kurtar is a real, named person, so we're placing him with a marker, not a photo. Lapsus $, wasn't your typical shadowy cybercrime ring. They were young, they were loud, and they bragged. They ran a Telegram channel where they taunted their victims in real time. And their method was almost embarrassingly human. Instead of writing some genius piece of malware, they'd often just trick an employee, spam them with login requests, or straight up buy access from someone on the inside. Before Rockstar, they'd already hit Nvidia, Samsung, Microsoft, and the identity company Okta. Look at how quickly this escalated. In under a year, this group went from a name nobody knew to breaking into the biggest companies on the planet. And here's the detail that turned this from a crime story into a legend. When police arrested Kurtai the first time, they took his computer. So he was out on bail, staying in a Travelodge hotel with no PC. Most people would stop. He didn't. According to the case laid out in court, he carried out the Rockstar hack using an Amazon Fire Stick plugged into the hotel television, a phone, and a Bluetooth keyboard. He broke into a company worth billions using the kind of setup you'd buy to watch movies in bed.
Sit with that number for a second. He was 17 years old, banned from computers, working off a streaming stick in a hotel room, and he still walked straight into Rockstar's internal systems. That's not a story about technology. It's a story about how fragile these walls actually are. The trial itself was unusual. Kurtai was diagnosed as autistic, and doctors deemed him not fit to stand trial in the normal way. So the jury wasn't asked whether he was guilty in the legal sense. They were asked a simpler question: did he do the acts? In August of 2023, they decided that yes, he did. He was behind the Rockstar hack. Then, in December of 2023, the sentence came down, and it was severe. Kurtai was given an indefinite hospital order, not a fixed prison term with an end date, but detention in a secure hospital for as long as he's considered a risk. The reason given in court was chilling. Doctors said he still had the intent and the desire to go straight back to cybercrime the moment he got the chance. He didn't see what he did as the end of anything. And that's the thread I need you to hold on to, because it's the whole point of this story. The source code he's accused of taking, the actual guts of Grand Theft Auto 6, was never fully accounted for. Reporting at the time noted the leaker claimed to still have it. Whatever was taken didn't get untaken just because one teenager got locked up. It's out there, somewhere, in somebody's hands. And that quiet, unfinished ending is exactly where our second story begins. So for about 2 years, things went quiet. Rockstar kept building. The first official trailer finally dropped. It felt like the leak era was over, a scary chapter that had closed. And then, this month, it reopened. August 2026, 3 months before Grand Theft Auto 6 is finally supposed to ship. A new name appears, and it is built for exactly this moment. The handle is CyberLeak, and unlike the messy forum post of 2022, this one arrives fully packaged. A masked persona, a slick logo, a manifesto, and a very clear demand. CyberLeak claims to be sitting on fresh Grand Theft Auto 6 material. And here's the important word: claims. Nothing this account says should be taken as proven. This is an active, developing story, and a lot of it is unverified. So we're going to treat every one of these claims as exactly that, a claim. And we genuinely don't know who's behind it. No name, no face, no confirmed country, just a mask and a brand. So this profile is a question mark on purpose. What we can track is the behavior, and the behavior is loud, coordinated, and clearly designed to get attention in the final weeks before launch. Here's what the account has done, day by day, over about a week. And I'm laying this out as a sequence of claims and posts, not confirmed facts. The stuff being pushed under this banner ranges from screenshots to short clips to lines of what's claimed to be internal text. And I want to be really clear about one thing, because it matters legally and ethically. We are not showing any leaked material in this video, and we're not linking to it. If it's stolen, and putting it on screen just does the leaker's job for them. So everything you're seeing here is our own graphics and our own legal gameplay footage. This, for example, is ordinary Grand Theft Auto footage. Cars, a city, a normal cruise through a normal map. It's here to give your eyes something to do while we talk. None of it is leaked, none of it is secret. That's a line we're not crossing. The centerpiece of the whole thing is the ransom. According to the account's own posts, CyberLeak is demanding a payment of around 400 Monero, a privacy coin, which at recent prices works out to somewhere near $160,000. Pay up, the threat goes, or more gets released. It's extortion with a countdown clock. But here's where it gets a little ridiculous, and honestly, a little revealing. Alongside the serious hacker act, there's a meme coin, a crypto token called $CyberLeak that rode the hype for a quick pump. Now think about what that tells you. A pure hacktivist, someone doing this on principle, doesn't usually launch a coin to cash in on their own headlines. The token is a tell. Part of this may be less about exposing Rockstar and more about somebody trying to get paid twice.
So if you break down what this account is actually made of, it's a blend. Some genuine security threat, sure, but also a heavy dose of self-promotion, a financial grift layered on top, and a whole lot of theatre. That mix is exactly why you should be skeptical of taking any of it at face value. And then there's the manifesto, the so-called CyberLeak Edict. Stripped of the dramatic language, the pitch is a kind of anti-corporate, anti-digital only message. The argument goes something like, companies hoard everything behind closed doors, so information wants to be free, and I'm the one setting it free. It's the oldest script in hacker history, dressed up in new branding. Whether you buy it or not, it's designed to make a crime feel like a cause. Which leaves us with the question that this entire second half really turns on. Is this person a hacktivist with a point to make, or a hustler who found a very expensive game to ride for clout and cash? And when you put our two leakers side by side, the contrast tells the whole story of how this scene has changed in 4 years. One was a kid who genuinely broke in. The other is a brand that's very good at looking like one. So what does the most powerful publisher in gaming actually do when this happens? Because Rockstar and its parent company are not sitting still. Rockstar is owned by Take-Two Interactive, and Take-Two has one of the most aggressive legal teams in the business. Their playbook for something like this is well established. First, mass takedowns. They flood YouTube, X, Reddit, and Discord with legal notices to pull down anything hosting the material. Second, they go after the infrastructure, using the courts to force platforms to hand over data that might identify who's behind an account. In practice, that means subpoenas. Reporting around these leaks has pointed to Take-Two pursuing information from the platforms where this stuff spreads, companies like Discord and other services trying to unmask the people uploading it. It's slow, it's grinding, and it mostly happens out of public view, but it's relentless. If you leak Grand Theft Auto material, you are not up against a game studio. You're up against a lawsuit machine with effectively unlimited money. And on the takedown front, they are fast. Fan channels have described clips vanishing within minutes of going up. When you're this well resourced, you can play whack-a-mole at a scale no individual leaker can outrun for long. It doesn't erase the material from existence, but it makes it exhausting to find and share. But here's the uncomfortable truth that ties both halves of this story together. All that money, all those lawyers, and the thing still leaks. Why? Because a game like Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't built in a vault by 5 people. It's built by thousands, across multiple studios and countries over the better part of a decade. Every single one of those people is a door. Every laptop, every contractor, every login is a possible way in. You saw it with Kurtage. He didn't beat some unbreakable machine. He found one tired human and 1 week login from a hotel room. The bigger and longer the project, the more doors there are to try. And when you map out why this particular game is so exposed, it's not one weakness, it's all of them at once. Enormous value, a massive team, years of development, and a fan base so hungry that leaked material spreads faster than anyone can delete it. That combination is almost uniquely hard to defend. So then, the practical question, the one you actually care about as someone who just wants to play the game. Does any of this, the hacks, the ransoms, the meme coins, actually change when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out? And the honest answer, based on everything we know, is no. The 2022 Mega Leak, as huge as it was, did not delay the game. Rockstar publicly said as much. Grand Theft Auto 6 is currently locked for release on the 19th of November 2026. A leaked early build is embarrassing, it spoils some surprises, but it doesn't stop a finished product from shipping. If anything, the leaks are proof of how close we're getting. From where we're standing right now, that's the countdown. Somewhere under 100 days between this whole circus and the actual launch. Which means the next few months are going to be the most dangerous stretch of all, because the closer you get to release, the more finished material exists to steal. So after all of it, the hotel room, the fire stick, the hospital order, the mask, the meme coin, what's the actual takeaway here? Here's how I see it. The 2022 leak was a genuine break-in, carried out by a talented, troubled teenager who's now locked away, but whose stolen code may still be floating out there. The 2026 wave, CyberLeak, looks like something different, a more commercial, more performative act wrapped in a manifesto and monetized with a coin. One was a burglar, the other is putting on a show. Both are cashing in on the same thing, the sheer gravity of this game. And the deeper lesson is the one Rockstar can't fully fix. When you build the most valuable thing in your industry, in the open, with thousands of hands, you can't keep it perfectly sealed. Somebody will always find a door. The best any studio can do is race to the finish line before the leaks steal too much of the magic. Rockstar is almost there. The question is just how much of the surprise survives the final stretch. So if this cracked the scene wide open for you, do me a favor and tap subscribe. You'd be one of the very first, and there's a whole lot more Nerdist culture on the way.